One Piece chapter 1140 Scopper Gaban. So we're getting a whole chapter about our boy, or at least titled about our boy. I'm so excited. These cover photos are on an insane run. They're on an insane run. Like, I am so impressed with how good they've, like how hard they've gone for who's who and what's going on. The Yamato, like, pilgrimage has been an interesting run for cover photos because A, it's been going on for so long. We're on volume 26 at this point. Like, this is going to be like an entire movie by the time he's done running this. Like it's kind of crazy, but this is just nuts. This has been my favorite one so far. Only epic characters get a chapter named after themselves. Exactly, dude. When you have a chapter named after you, bro, it's time to cook. You can make it into a game. Oh my lord. Again, though, this panel, homie looks absolutely sick as hell. The Holy Knights fits are freaking tough as hell, guys. Like, this is going crazy. Do the summoning circles require hockey or a form of it? We've been theory crafting in the community recently about the summoning circles specifically being like magic as opposed to directly hockey. Now, granted, it does seem like it's hockey blast, so it very easily could just be that and we're overthinking it, but we are considering the fact that maybe Emu has a separate power from devil fruits and hockey, which is magic. Because like when you look at it, like the devil fruit is the manifestation of like desire, hockey is the manifestation of will, and magic could be the manifestation of fear or some kind of negative emotion or something like that. And Emu might potentially have the ability to use magic or some like they are very good with magic for some reason, and that is where these like summoning circles come down. And the concept is Emu is using their magic to pass down through the Gorosei, and then obviously I guess further down to the Holy Knights. The real concept with this theory is that like when we saw the Gorosei get announced with their like demonic forms, they weren't announced with devil fruits, even though it looked like they obviously had zone fruits in some capacity, but they were never announced actually having devil fruits. So that kind of makes me think that, I mean, bare minimum, I think the whole community agrees that we are looking at Emu providing the powers to the elders, but that power could be a more magic-based power that like manifests similarly to devil fruits and hockey, but is different. And then pure like will of D hockey, like Joy Boy style hockey, is what is going to be like the antithesis of this magic system. Not totally sure, but that is like a little theory that we've been cooking with my homie Jet, and honestly just the whole community at this point. But it would explain why we have the rainbow painters in this arc. Safe way to introduce a new concept. Exactly. And it's not completely new, but that's exactly like a good reference to that. But like magic has definitely been in this world. Like we've seen a lot of characters who can do a lot of odd things that don't fit into the regular power system, i.e. like Basil Hawkins. Shout out my boy Richie for pointing this one out, where he can have his cards just float in front of him. Early in the series, he would use his straws to hold them up. But later in the series, they have like a purple aura and they're actually just floating. And that could be, another example of magic. And like how exactly do his tarot cards work? We don't fully know like the full explanation. And there's other examples. So I'm not saying magic is a brand new thing, but it seems like it might actually become a prevalent power system. Because the other like concept for this is they've broken down intimately how hockey works and devil fruits work. Like we know it through and through, but we've been lightly sprinkled and introduced with this magic system, and it's never even been like even like mentioned really until these magic circles or these demonic pentagrams started pulling up. What if Harold was going to trade away the giant deity fruit or even the gum gum fruit, which sent Shanks on a journey to find it? What if he okay, Jet, okay. So let's cook on this a little bit. It could be something along those lines. Yeah, so what if Elbaf held both those fruits, right? Yeah, so they have the gum gum fruit and whatever crazy fruit that Loki has that is like this passed down family generational, like all that, right? And then Harold managed to sell off the gum gum fruit, and that's what triggered Loki to realize, holy, Harold's about to ruin everything, and like, Harold's doing the wrong thing for all the wrong reasons, and because of that got away, and then Shanks got sent on a mission to go retrieve the gum gum fruit from the world government and stop that from actually going through. And at the same time, Loki had the battle with Harold, defeated him, but had to go down as the bad guy or the enemy of Elbaf. Bro, that's a theory right there. Do I think that people with the will of D come together or be used at some point in the story? Oh, 100%. 100%. I mean, I think the biggest thing to look at right now, at least with the information that we have for people with the will of D, is just the fact that they have the ability to change things in the world. That's the real, like the brass tacks of it. Like when you boil it all down, they can just incite real change. Whether it's positive or negative is kind of like irrelevant, because we have people like Luffy doing, positive change constantly, and you have people like Blackbeard doing quite negative change. So the will of D is not an inherently good thing, and I think we need to remember that doesn't just inherently mean you're good. I think it just means that you have a strong enough will to actually create real change within the world. Still, I think Law comes back. I 100% think Law comes back. Law has top 3 most important fruits in the story. There is no way Law isn't coming back. And we have definitive proof that Law at least survived. Like, we know that he survived. Beppo got him away. He's not doing great. He's having a really, really rough couple days. But Law is alive. You know how to find that. But Richie says, on page 16 of the new chapter, one of the new Holy Knights asked if Shamrock was there to pay respect to the late king, implying that the Holy Knights and the old king were somehow acquaintances. So the theory about the whole thing with the death of the king is at their hand. It's being played off as Loki did it, is looking more valid, and maybe the Holy Knights originally went to the castle thinking he was there since the last time. Oh, okay. Thinking that he was there since the last time and only was able to go since they have been to that spot before. And as we've seen, one can summon more just as easy as Saint Saturn did with the 5 elders. Dude, all right, so there is a lot to that. Yes, the situation in the Holy Land is rather dire. It's all gone wrong ever since the Reverie. Your presence there will be a benefit. So what's the situation in the mission? Why are you going to an unaffiliated country, which is important? They are still directly unaffiliated, but paying a visit to Harold's grave. There's definitely something to consider with the relationship between them. I really think what you're pointing out is kind of tying back to what Jet was mentioning with the fact that Harold was working with the world government, or specifically with the Holy Knights. And I think that more so bolsters the theory that Loki was defending Elbaf and kind of the world from the world government, because Loki saw, bare minimum, the toxicity that, engaging with the world government would eventually bring. All right, do I think Zoro is already Mihawk level? We just genuinely don't know, dude. We genuinely don't know. I would like to think he's close, but in theory, no. I think it's just a simple narrative thing that when Zoro is stronger than Mihawk, then Zoro has fully achieved his dream of being the strongest swordsman in the world. So until which point Mihawk is no longer being called that, we're not going to see that. So I think it's fair to assume and work based on this assumption that Mihawk will be the strongest swordsman that Zoro will fight by the end of this story, because that is how they set it up. So I think genuinely, no matter how you cut it, we can scale up Mihawk with Zoro, and I think that's a safe place to do it. Not with other swordsmen, but with Zoro, because Mihawk has been set up to be the final boss for Zoro. And if Zoro is already stronger than Mihawk, then we saw him achieve his dream off screen, kind of. You know what I'm saying? We didn't get to see him achieve his dream by just beating the out of Mihawk. We just one day, oh wait, he's stronger, he's been stronger. So if he were to mop the floor with Mihawk by the end fight, that'd be lame, right? That wouldn't be a good payoff. So that's kind of my concept on that. No, Zoro isn't Mihawk level right now for sure. You go that far, he isn't even a match for Bogard at this moment. Dude, Bogard, man. I can't wait to see what's up with him, man. I cannot wait to see. Mihawk is stronger until explicitly stated otherwise, but he could go with some more feats to back it up. That is exactly it, Mel. That's the perfect way to say it. As far as the narrative is concerned, he's the strongest, but it would be nice to have some feats to back it up, but that's the way we're doing this story. You just have to trust Oda. Oda said that he's the strongest for right now, and he said that through the world and through the characters. It's not like Oda said this in an SBS, so get over it. That's not what I'm saying. But that's the way he presented this information to us. So based off of the narrative, we just have to make that assumption until told otherwise. Explicitly. Exactly, Mel. Do I think Harold is Kaido's father? I haven't even remotely heard anything about that. Chillaxophone, can you give me a little bit more information as to why you would think that? I'm not denying it. I haven't heard that at all. That's brand new to me, bro. When they showed Harold's portrait, they said he took his own horns off. And IMO, he looks like Kaido. Ooh, okay. So, are you thinking that Kaido... So Kaido's technically from the ogre race, from what I'm aware of. And we don't seem to know a lot about ogres. And please, let me know in the comments or in the chat. We only know about 2, right? It's just Kaido and Yamato, right? Do we know of any other ogres in this story specifically? And following that train of thought, Are ogres just a mixed bloodline from the ancient giant race with maybe something else? Is that really just where the ogre like race comes from? Because that really could just be like a casual offshoot of that. Because we've been told that the ancient giants are the ones with the horns, i.e., Ors and Ors Jr. and all them, and the old king and what we're referencing here, because he had ancient giant's blood in him, even though he wasn't full blown ancient giant. So maybe ogre is actually just an offshoot of that. Luffy gets nuts if someone insults Shanks, and if he meets up with Shamrock, he gonna insult Shanks like nobody before. Do you think we get Luffy versus Shamrock? Dante, I didn't think that, but the way you're putting it makes me really want it to happen, because I can totally see that. I can totally see, like, for whatever reason, I do think we're going to get a Luffy face-to-face with Shamrock, so we probably do get that fight, actually. I was thinking it would be Zoro just because, you know, sword and sword, and it makes sense. And really, I was thinking it might end up actually just being Shanks v Shamrock by the end of that battle, because that just makes sense. The prophesized, like, siblings going against each other, blah, blah, blah. But that being said, it would be amazing to see, like, him pull up on Luffy, talk mad about Shanks, and Luffy just go God mode on him immediately, dude. That would be actually sick as all hell. Did Chad already point out that the Holy Knights is part of the blonde Gorosei's family? Yes, yes. So, specifically, like, these guys, the Shepherd family, right? Summers, the Shepherd family is the worm Gorosei, yes? And, what was the, Remo Shifu family? Which one would that be related to, or do we know yet? Thoughts on the seemingly traveling through the abyss? Dude, so I do want to point this out, because I did say put a pin in this earlier, while we were going through this, where homie says, who grabs my entire room, sofa included? I do want to point out, like, that is super interesting. With these demonic abyss pentagrams is what they call them. We actually have a word for it now. Abyss pentagrams. We know you need to be marked to travel through them, which is really, really interesting. But it still seems like you can choose to summon the person or their area, which is like what's a little confusing to me. Is like, if you need a mark to travel, then I guess maybe as a living creature, that's how you have to travel through it. But you can bring inanimate objects through these circles as well, which is just such a crazy concept to me, in the fact of, like, just thinking, like, what the implications of that are. Like the things that they could travel back and forth, i.e. even devil fruits potentially, and stuff like that. Like, you can choose, hey, summon me and everything around me, or just summon my physical body. There's something to that for sure. I don't have it all put together yet, but I am, like, it's just, that's glaring at me, dude. So good looks on that. People also point out how Gunko doesn't have Saint in her name. She also might not be celestial by blood. I agree with that, dude. Gunko seems to be more of an outlier, or at least not in, like, the main paradigm of all of these, like, royals and everything. Because exactly to that point, these guys all have Saint, and then even Shamrock. I'm pretty sure Shamrock also had a Saint, yeah? Is he considered Saint? I feel like he should be. But y'all correct me about that. But that's a good fucking point. She does not. She seems to be, she's probably a child that they stole from some country. I bet you I mean, like, they're trying to steal giant kids. They've been stealing kids, you know, this whole time, like seemingly. I bet she's just another kid that got stolen and got, you know, integrated into this crazy freaking, like, world. And that's why she has the excessive god complex, where she is like, she seems to be even heavier on, like, everybody is below me and you are all filth. Like, she is, like, heavy on it, where Shamrock still hit it, but, like, it's been in almost every single time she's referenced anything. And maybe that's because she's, like, over exaggerating, because she's so indoctrinated in this shit from, like, from such a young age. Shanks lost his arm to get rid of the mark theory was cool. Ooh, that's a crazy theory. Oh my god, I've never heard that, bro. I've never heard that, AJ. So, the reason that Shanks actually let his arm go in that moment, which no one's ever been able to give a good reason for, is because he was marked and able to be summoned by the Holy Knights, and he didn't want that, so he let that arm get eaten off. Oh, I love that theory. I absolutely love that theory. Shit, sign me up, man. Yeah, I'm riding for that. I'm dying on that hill all of a sudden, man. How strong do we think these two Holy Knights are? Very strong. I think they're going to be very strong. Like, it'll take a group of the Straw Hats to fight them. I don't think, I'm not saying they're necessarily going to be stronger than Luffy one-on-one, but, like, I'm willing to bet that we maybe see another, like, Zoro Sanji team up, or, like, you know, like we see the Straw Hats team up to fight these guys. I don't think we're going to get clean one-on-ones, because I think they're going to be incredibly powerful. That theory's been blown up on Twitter about Shanks' arm, and people say it might be the best foreshadowing. Dude, that'd be brilliant. I would still argue that was retconned as what's happening, because I'm not totally sure Oda had all of this laid out just yet, but maybe he did. Maybe he did. I like to have faith in him. You wonder, could they summon whole houses? That's what I'm thinking, bro. Like, could they summon an entire fucking building? Like, in theory, that alludes to the fact that they could. I'm just saying. In theory, it says that they could. Maybe the Celestials used to live in the underworld, and after basically killing King's race and taking over the Red Line, they summoned the kingdom we know now. That makes a lot of sense, dude. That makes a lot of sense. And that's like, that could be like telling the story of like the original sin that these humans committed, taking, the Mother Flame and stuff like that. Like, that could still be partially alluding to that, is like creatures of the underworld taking over the overworld. Like, we're definitely getting like a lot of nods to just what, like the evils of below taking over the light of above, and then has been like controlling it for this entire time, and we're trying to dismantle all of that, right? That seems to be obviously like the obvious blatant like thing that they're painting. So that could be a good way of explaining that. Gabon handled Luffy like a toy, so they still have space for exactly, dude. And I think that was the point of them showing us this fight with Gabon and these moments, especially with him just being like, you didn't die, like you're good, like I yield, I'm chilling, like dead ass. He was toying with them. And that's just to show us exactly your point. The Roger Pirates were dummy freaking lit, and we can't forget that, dude. Like, he is still on another level. Our boys have gotten strong as hell, dude, but they are still not necessarily there, as far as what this world can provide. You heard an interesting theory where Ray told Robin after she asked about the history, he responded, "You may come to a different conclusion than we did once you find it all out for yourself." Yes. And Vegapunk, who is good and evil, so the point is that everybody's going to have their own opinion on who the good and bad guy is. Emu or Joy Boy have to reveal. Sorry, a bit long. No, all right, so let's break that down, because I think there's a lot of really good points in there. One of the biggest themes in this story, and it is so like blatantly obvious in Vegapunk's speech to the world at Egghead, is how everything is gray. Everything is gray, dude. There are no direct good guys, and there are no direct bad guys in this. Everything gets murky. You look at like a character like Horty, right? And yes, he's a bad guy, but like, what made him become a bad guy? Insane amounts of racism and oppression, and seeing him and his people being put down by the people from above. Like, so not to say that what Horty did was justified, but you can understand why the man was frustrated. So it led him down the wrong path, and he went about it the wrong way. But then we also have plenty of stories with the opposite side. Somebody like Jinbei, who's a perfect foil to someone like Horty, who also was following that path, but saw the light in that path and was able to grow through it and maybe go what we could say is the right way to this, right? But it all, like, this entire show loves foiling these characters like this and giving us these parallels. So I think that is a huge point of, Joy Boy could have been partially a bad guy. Emu could have been partially a good guy. Again, the concept of maybe Emu being Lily originally and then the demon taking over the body gives us that dichotomy right there of originally this character was a good person doing good things, like working really hard for the betterment of society and mankind and all of that, right? But then got corrupted like while going on that path. And then the same thing could have been Joy Boy could have been an asshole to start off with, and then slowly realized that he had the ability to make real change and kind of became a good guy. They love to put things like that throughout this story, so I think there's a lot to be said about that. And then just how you interpret the One Piece is going to be that concept too. Like, I am so intrigued, obviously, and as we all are, of what the One Piece is going to be, on the fact of what Rayleigh said. You might see it and have a different conclusion, which also might mean, and hear me out on this, guys, when we find out what the One Piece is, and mark this day, this is, 2/23/2025 at 6:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. What if the One Piece is actually something that when you see it, you draw your own conclusions? So every single one of us will have our own interpretation of it. So by the end of this we all will disagree on what the One Piece is, because we all have different perspectives and different lived experiences. So me, a kid from Georgia, is going to have a different concept of what the One Piece is than a kid from Europe, or, a fucking kid from Africa or wherever. That would be freaking wild, dude. That would be so wild. You think the main three are going to visit Loki now since they have the key, maybe this chapter or next? I'm thinking, yeah, probably within 2 chapters. I have a feeling with the amount of action we've been getting, we're probably going to get and I'm not sure about this, but I'm thinking from now until maybe 3 chapters from now, we might not even see much of Luffy in this particular side of the gang, because I bet you we jump to Robin and Chopper and them back at the library, and we probably get some more just like library, like, you know, Harley kind of information. I hope. I would love that. So we get like maybe a full or close to full chapter looking at that. And then we get another chapter following these holy knights trying to get to whatever kids they're trying to steal. And they start setting that up. So in that moment, so within 2 chapters, we get kind of like those 2 sides of the story. And then by the 3rd chapter, we might be back to Luffy and gang getting to Loki. And then we might be getting that. I might be totally wrong about that. That's totally me assuming, but that'd be cool. The other Straw Hats are about to get cooked with only Sanji and Jinbei there to help. Absolute facts, man. That's one thing I'm genuinely getting worried about with this story. I hate to say it, but like, I don't want the rest of the Straw Hats to get power clipped, man. Like, I fully understand that every Straw Hat doesn't need to be a powerhouse. Like, I fully respect that. I'm not looking for every Straw Hat to be on the level of our big 3, you know, or even on Jinbei's level necessarily. But, like, y'all got to be a little bit stronger, dude. You got to be able to at least take a punch, you know, because like we are dealing with gods at this point. Like we are in a level of power scale that's nuts. So like I do truly want to see them get some technique, get some new ability, maybe even a new item or something like that, or a new weapon. You know, I'm just worried about the lower tier of the Straw Hats in that capacity. If we can keep them out of the fights truly, then I guess we'll be fine. But that, you know, I'm a little bit worried about it. Akainu will kill one of the Straw Hats. Dude, if he... So, we do have this theory, and it's been floating around the internet and all that too. One of the Straw Hats might get killed, and Brook might use an awakened version of his fruit to actually revive somebody. Maybe Brook's awakening would be able to retrieve somebody's soul before it makes it to the afterlife or whatever, and put it back in their body. So maybe one of the crucial members, i.e., like, you know, Zoro or Sanji or Rob, I mean, anyone. Every Straw Hat is crucial. Any one of the Straw Hats could potentially catch that big old fat L, and Brook has to let it go. If I were to say that at the end of it, if we lose any Straw Hat, Brook would make the most sense, because he's lived 2 full lives, and that man just deserves to rest at this point. You know what I'm saying? I feel like Brook can be stronger through fear as well. Not sure if you can recall his past, but you low-key relate his relationship with music, his backstory so far with fear and magic can also be considered as or music can be considered as magic. You don't know if that makes sense. Brook is still too broad for you. I do like your concept of connecting Brook with magic, though, especially because he's been summoned by a magic circle, by that like cult or whatever during the time skip and all that. There's something to that, Lewin. There is. We need to see more BB Pirates. Dude, I'm standing on the hill that Blackbeard's entire crew are all frauds. The fact that fucking Law and Beppo were able to solo his crew while fighting against Blackbeard. Yes, they lost, but like they held their own, and the whole crew basically like that was a disappointing show for Blackbeard's crew. Blackbeard, he's a powerhouse. I'm not giving him any fraud alerts, but fraud alerts 5 sure for the Blackbeard Pirates. They are losers. Yo, Trap over here, man. What's up? Favorite anime opening? Asterisk by Orange Range, Bleach first opening. If I just, you know, off the top of my head. You need a frame-by-frame video breakdown of what, Lena? Of which one? Oh, of solo leveling. That's what we were talking about. Yes. I think I'm going to have to do that. I might have to, bare minimum, just make the video. Because that would be so good, dude. That episode was just so peak. Ashura gives Zoro a Conqueror's he mastered the Ashura form. Word. Okay. Twitter community is divided whether Zoro used... So, what is ACOC? I'm so sorry, but I do not know that abbreviation. Unless it's just Conquerors. But it would make sense that he used Conquerors when scarring Kaido, exactly. Next season of Reincarnated needs to come out. Facts, dude. Most Zoro fans say Zoro didn't use Conqueror's Haki on Kaido. Kaido literally said Zoro used Conquerors. Let's look that up. 10-10 is what they're saying. There it is, yeah. Don't tell me you can use the color of the Supreme King too. If that doesn't confirm that Zoro has Conqueror's Haki, what else would it be? I mean, like for real, like chat, genuinely let me know. Like, do y'all feel like this is just a pure confirmation? Because it seems like that to me, and maybe I'm just like overstepping a little bit. But Kaido saying you have the color of the Supreme King, I mean, like, what more do you need? Huh? What are you talking about? Don't have any idea what you mean. That was the best attack I could do. I was hoping it at least knock you off your feet. Oh, you did enough. This wound will remain with me. Like, that's the thing. Like, and I can totally see Zoro, like, not knowing that that's what he used because he just wasn't ever told that that's what it is. Zoro's just like, I'm just being me, being him. If Gabon has it, Sanji got conqueror too. Fair enough. Fair enough. Twitter community think Gabon has conquerors, Sanji will too, since the monster trio parallel the OG trio. That's super fair. And it doesn't, like it's not unrealistic to hope and expect the monster trio, the big three in that, to have all three. You know, or at least have conquerors hockey, because they're all just that level of lit. But I wonder what would make Sanji like awaken his conquerors hockey. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is the push for him in that? Dragon's titles alone in the show are more impressive than Yonko. This guy could legit be on par or stronger than Roger. It's not crazy to say that if his dad is on par with Roger, then the classic anime son dad. I mean, absolutely. Absolutely extreme. I fully agree with everything you said right there, bro. Fully agree with everything you said. And that is the proper way to think about it. Just to think about it, because like titles mean something in this story. Like they really do. And people want to like kind of push them aside. But it's like, no, if Oda has a character say that person is, quote, the greatest, swordsman in the world, or quote, the biggest threat to the world government, enemy number one, there's a reason for it. There's a reason. They started calling Roger a fraud once the spoilers came out when they said Gabon was equal to Roger. Dude, I'm saying, man, it's so annoying, dude. It's so annoying. Yeah, they love to use the haha, he's a fraud. For real. The Agenda Piece community got mad when this user who does theories said that they should not consume the story like that. And that's just wild, dude. It's not a problem to like joke around and have fun. It really isn't. But like, we just have to remember to like not get attached to these ideas. And we shouldn't be attached to any of these theories. Like, we're all cooking and theory crafting, we're having fun, but like none of us are writing One Piece. None of us actually know. Like none of us actually know. This is us just having a really fun imagination game, which I fucking love it. I love it to death. And it'd be really damn cool if we turn out to be right about a couple things. It's very possible, and we probably will. But at the end of the day, yeah, dude, this is Oda's story, not ours. What do I think of Killingham? I think he's super interesting. He's going to be a fun character. It's interesting that he's like rocking the bubble and he's a dragon. I'm just so curious as to what he actually is. Like, what's going on with this? Like, I'm just so curious. Like, we didn't get Devil Fruit intros with them. And another point is when Gunku... Man, I didn't even think about this. Good call, and I'm happy that you said that, just to lead me back into this chapter. These two were introduced, and when Gunko was introduced and when Shamrock was introduced, we got, specific information about them. Gunko was introduced with her fruit. Excuse me. These two were not introduced with a fruit. So are they just going to be lit as, like, hockey users? I'm curious. Killingham is a Kieran? Yep. If Kid died, his fruit could respawn on Elbaf. That's facts. Why would you say should? Just because that's, like, where he died? He died off the coast of Elbaf, so that's the closest area? Because that's a good point. That magnet fruit could just be laying around right now, bro. What if Frankie ate Kid's fruit? I know this is insane tinfoil hat, but like for a second, like bear with me. And following Jet, like your train of thought. What if, so Kid actually got unalived by Shanks. Like Shanks, in fact, did truly end Kid right there, right? Kid's fruit respawns on Elbaf. Somehow Frankie gets that. And Frankie having the magnet fruit would just be nuts. And that is absolutely perfect for Frankie. And that's what could push Frankie to being the level, like the level that we really need him to be strength-wise, assuming he becomes someone who's fighting. That would be crazy, right? I know that's like very tinfoil hatty. So I'm not saying I'm dying on that hill, but I think it'd be pretty cool, Frankie doesn't need to eat a fruit. He can just build it into his arm, or Admiral Frankie or something. That'd be crazy too. Yeah, so Frankie doesn't eat the fruit. He puts the fruit into one of his mechs or something. Now, that is an even cooler twist to that, bro. That is crazy. What if some of the original kings were different races? Piggyback off Fishman. Yeah, I absolutely think there's something about that. And I think that's really important, like, to show. And also maybe, like, there's probably a lot of races, but the unincorporated people probably do not exist in there. So there's probably not any, like, giants from the original kings, maybe, because that's an unincorporated country. And maybe just technically nobody from Wano as that, but, like, fishmen are incorporated in all this stuff. So yeah. Favorite D-confirmed story or theory? You mean like Honestly, it was the Shiki one, the Shiki theory, Gabon, like everyone thinking Gabon was gonna be Shiki, and like, dude, all the tells were there. The jacket was very similar, the hair was very similar, the monsters or the animals that were around Loki were very similar to Shiki's animals in Strong World. For so many reasons, it really looked like it was gonna be Shiki waiting for them on Elbaf, and turns out it wasn't. And I think that's pretty crazy. It def felt like an Oda fake out, 100%, dude. It 100% felt like that, dude. You're reading a thread on the cure, and it says that some myths say it's associated with black magic. See? There's another connection. See, that's exactly what we need. Jed, I hope you heard that. You're probably talking about it below in these comments that I'm about to get to. But there it is, man. This little Kieran creature might give us some more insight on magic becoming more of a prominent power system, dude. I am loving that theory, Jed. I really am getting more and more excited about it every single day, bro. Every chapter seems to push us closer to it, man. You love Luffy so much. Yamato's your favorite outside the Straw Hats. So Yamato is one of my all-time favorites in this entire story too, dude. He's just such a badass in all capacities. I think Nolan was the Roger of his time. Yes, I agree with that. I do agree with that. Plenty were calling Gabon too. You were dying on the Shiki Hill. Dude, I was definitely going to die on the Shiki Hill. I was. And everyone who called Gabon was so damn right. If people see and imagine that they don't understand why they would stay and write a comment just so, yeah, dude, exactly. Yeah, if you see a spoiler and you're like, wait, I don't want to see this, yeah, you hang out in my chat and still like drop a comment like, bro, spoiler yourself, dog. What are you doing, man? What are you doing? You do think Gorosei are supposed to be above the level of the Holy Knights? Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt, I think it's fair to assume that all 5 elders are stronger than any of the singular Holy Knights. I think that's a fair assumption. Jinbei's 46 years old. I'm sure he's at his very peak right now. Nah, I'm not so sure, man. Because when you're looking at characters like Rayleigh and Gabon, even though they say they're not at their peak, look at how fucking strong they are, bro. I outright disagree with that, man. I really do. With love, Dante. With love. But no, I think Jinbei has room. Now, does that mean Jinbei is going to get insanely stronger? That's way debatable. But I do think Jinbei has more room to grow. Bon Clay is needed to lead his own crew of escapees to fight for Luffy, so he's essentially a Grand Fleet member. Oh, 100%, Tim. Fully agree. You think half the crew is washed with Holy Knights? 100%. I think everybody but Sanji, Zoro, and Luffy are washed by the Holy Knights. Like 100%. I don't think anybody else on the crew can actually fight them. They might be able to escape them or hold them off for a small moment, but I don't think they could win. I really don't. And together or separate. I really don't. These Holy Knights seem so confident, like they should know Straw Hats are here and they know Loki's a threat with all these giants. Like you don't you don't think they're all equal or stronger than current Luffy. I mean, they at least feel that way for sure. You were saying a Chinese sleep dragon beginning to stream. Yep, there might be something to that, Jet. Jinbei just needs observation and a little more speed. You think Jinbei scraps too? I mean, I definitely think he scraps. I just don't think he wins. Read the theory of... oh, yeah. Maybe I just like reread that message. But yeah, dude, the black magic theory is huge. Hear you out on Gunko? I'm listening. Let me get back over here on TikTok. My bad, y'all. I mean, to be fair, if you're scrolling on TikTok, the first thing you see is 2 Holy Knights. I guess that's fair, man. I guess that's fair. I got this cover, but I don't know what else to do, bro. I don't know what else to do. Blackbeard will be Emu if it's off screen. I do think Blackbeard has the potential to come in the middle of the big Emu fight and be the one to take the victory like out from under everyone else. What do I think the mark looks like to use the Abyss? That I have no idea. I'm very, very curious about it. I am very, very curious about it. Jake with the team bracelets, bro. I appreciate that. Mark on Summer's elbows, the same one on the ship that felled in Skypiea. That's a good point. And it does look a lot like the Sun Pirates mark, you know? Like there's something interesting to it. That could be the mark right there, because you don't see tatted people very much. So that might be it. But it also seems like homie just has a whole sleeve going on. So I'm not sure. And like he's covered up in this one, yeah. So I don't know. Do I think Shamrock is leaving to get a promotion, and who would you compare his strength to? Definitely don't think he's leaving to get a promotion, because what promotion could he possibly get? He's the leader of the Holy Knights. The only level higher than that is an elder. So definitely not a promotion. But I do think he's royalty. He might be looked up to by the general people of Marijois and all of that. So yeah. I do think there's something to that. I think he's a very important like visual character as far as like people want to see him and all of that. But yeah. Do I think the dragon is most likely about to attack the Holy Land, and that's why Shamrock is leaving? Yes, I do think. I do think we're getting very, very close to the Revolutionaries actually launching their attack. I do think that. You know, dragon is based on Aztec god. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Golden Ratio. What's up, brother? Will Kobe and Luffy versus Blackbeard with the three fruits? I do think that that's a very, very possible thing to happen. Do I think Kaido is related to Harold? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I've seen that theory. We talked about that a little bit earlier. I'm not 100% sure, but I don't hate the concept. I think that there could be some connection in there that we just don't know. Thoughts about the God Valley games at Elbap? I think that'd be so fucking sick, dude. I think it'd be so sick for that to happen, man. I would love, like, God Valley 2.0. Knows Kaido uses some Norse words in his attacks. Ooh, I didn't pick that up. That's a very interesting concept in Golden. I think Gabon will fight with the Straw Hats. No, not at all. This chapter gave us the fight that we're going to get, and it was just this. He was testing them to see where they're at. I think currently he would wash the Straw Hats. Think of like Roger and Garb versus Beck. Exactly. We very well could get something close to that. Oda knows what he's doing. He's edged us thinking Luffy will meet Shanks look like. Absolutely, dude. The next promotion is Supreme Commander, considering his dad was promoted to Elder. Not insane. Say, okay, I guess that's fair. But to be honest, I guess my thoughts on it is I'm kind of already assuming he's there. But that's a good point, Josh. That is a good point. They could formally do that publicly. You know what I'm saying? I like that idea. I digress a little bit. But I think the portal that Gunko summoned is satanic. I think it's specifically magic. Like I think the point of the portal is to show that magic is becoming a power system here. I really do believe that. Or like a prominent power system. Not a new power system, but a more prominent power system. Let me get back over to the purple app. I've been missing these. My bad, y'all. You wonder how Luffy gets stronger. Is it just improving the stamina for Gear 5? I think it's at first improving stamina and then expanding upon what he can do while in Gear 5. I think that's the two places that Luffy can really grow. You think besides Luffy, if someone pairs with Jinbei, Zoro, and Sanji, the whole crew can put in work? I mean, I think if we squad up, the crew can put in some work. I do believe that. You think Jinbei gets advanced armament and observation, baby? I hope he does. Advanced armament for sure. That'd be sick. Gabon might fight one of the two Holy Knights members alongside Sanji and Zoro fighting the other. Exactly. That's where we'll see Gabon fight if we do. But he also said, I'm leaving until you guys, like, you know, are done with this island, and if you don't destroy it, we'll meet again. So that's an interesting thing. It seems like he's, like, outright removing himself from the story this chapter, you know? In mythology, the mark of the abyss is typically represents a symbol of being touched by the deep, chaotic, and often dangerous realm of the abyss, often signifying a curse or a connection to dark primal forces, marking the individual as an outsider or one who has been touched by the unknown depths, usually with both potential power and danger associated with it. Often found in stories where the abyss is a place of primal chaos, demons, or the underworld. Bro, Jet, you're just cooking your life away, man, and I love to see it. That's brilliant, bro. Clip that, chat. Now, we'll definitely be having to make a video on that because I just fully agree with everything. I think it's obvious, like, with what you said, and that's brilliant, dude. Remember the ship that fell out of the sky before Skypiea started? Some people think the symbol on the Jolly Roger is the same as a Holy Knight's arm. That's an interesting connection right there. It also looks like the mark from the St. Bliss ship that fell. All right, so let's see. So it's like this image right here. Kind of zoom in on this page. We'll just do that. So this symbol right here, you know, the symbol is incredibly similar. It's basically the same symbol. Okay, there could be something to it then. There could be something to it. You love the very British-French monarchy look for the Holy Knights. I absolutely love that too, dude. I love that. It feels like a blend between that and then, unfortunately, like the whole Yahtzee kind of look. But it's par for course. Drop a follow. We do these streams every single Sunday, 5 p.m. I do have to get out of here. I appreciate the heck out of each and every one of y'all, and I'm sorry I'm cutting this. I mean, it's not like I'm cutting it short, I guess, but shorter than I want to because we could talk forever about this chapter. We'll do another full chapter breakdown of this and maybe just run a whole nother stream for it. I will see you guys in the comment section, in Discord, on Patreon, wherever you like to hang out with me, man. I appreciate you. Take care of one another. Tell the people you love them. Touch some grass. Drink some water. And I will see you guys next time.